Welcome along to a very special edition of FKB Full Kit Banter. And you can see we are in a different setting this time around. Very happy to announce that we are being hosted by Paraphrase this time around. Shout out to the guy at Paraphrase. And while some of you who may be more accustomed to us, taking a bit of a review of last season and talking about our frauds of the season, we're changing things up a little bit this time and doing more of a preview to the season that's coming up. We're going to be analyzing some players who are, going to be under the microscope because either they've joined clubs for big money or they flattered to deceive in the season that's just gone by. With that, I'd like to introduce my esteemed panel who's joining me today. We've got BK, Sash, and of course, the reigning, defending treble champion, Lionel. So with that said, I'm super excited to get into the meat and potatoes of this. But Lionel, let's start with you actually.
Mm-hmm. So Lionel, how does it feel like to finally win the Champions League after so many years of heartbreak?
I think it was only a matter of time, but I think as a City fan, right, it was taking way too long than I expected. But I think that feeling, wow, that was such a great feeling, man. Like finally champions of Europe.
Yeah, well, sorry to cut in, but I did tell you that you have to lose your first one. It's like a rite of passage.
And of course, the person I'm sitting right beside, donning on that jersey, is the team that City lost to. It was a very painful final. I still recall because I remember City dominated from start to finish, but we just couldn't have that end product. But finally, we got it.
Then again, I remembered watching the final, right? It wasn't that straightforward because the only thing that barred Inter from scoring a goal was actually Lukaku, who turned into prime Maldini on the day itself. I couldn't believe
he turned into
happened.
prime Lukaku.
Yeah, but it's not only the Champions League, man. You guys won the treble, in which the last team who won it or who completed the treble was Man United. Yeah, so I know Nathan's our sound guy for today, and
not the sound, he's the everything guy.
Yeah, he's the everything
Put
guy
some respect
today.
on his
Yeah.
name.
We're just here chilling.
Yeah, but I'd like to get his thoughts on, Manchester City winning the treble. Yeah, he's actually getting ready to use his microphone now. Yeah.
Manchester City winning the treble. It's hard. I think if there was any team that was gonna get it, I would have preferred, to be honest, really any other team
Except Liverpool, no way. Like, come on.
Girls, you could choose Liverpool. That's like the big question. Like, which is a bigger rival to United, Liverpool or City? One is obviously like derby rivals. The other one is like a history rival. But at this point in time, I guess it's been coming, right? The noisy neighbors are now essentially the stronger neighbors, and I think we could all see it coming. So I think it was that inevitability that made it easier to stomach. If it was probably a bit earlier, maybe against Chelsea that year, that would have been harder. But looking at how dominant they were this season, especially with Haaland, it was always gonna happen. So I think it was tough to swallow, but it was, we could all see it coming.
And the thing is that you can't say that you're the only English club in England to win the treble anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Share it
they'll
with-
still say they're the first, so you can't overtake being the first club to do it.
But if you did twice,
Oh my gosh, if Man City did it again, I don't know, man. I think football's gone.
I think we have a bit of today to evaluate if City are on their way to doing that. I mean, as you guys can see, there's like a random bowl of rice, but I can assure you it's not as random as you would think because a lot of the clubs that are actually chasing Man City have spent big. And I think if you are a football fan, it doesn't take like a lot to decipher what the bowl represents. So we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But in terms of the format of today's episode, right? For those of you all familiar with our frauds of the season episodes, it'll be a bit more clear cut to you guys. But for those of you all who may be joining us for the first time, we are pretty much running through, each position on the pitch. We are 4-3-3 merchants, so we're going to be doing it that way. We're not going to be settling on like a final 11 like we've done so in previous episodes. I think partly because that would entail us doing like a 5-hour episode, which we're not trying to do. But we're just kind of give more of a broader spectrum of players. And I think you're going to be there's going to be quite a bit of differences of opinion, I think, in terms of what a fraud watch player looks like. But I think our poster child is right here, and we're gonna get into it in a little bit. But
God damn.
yeah, let's start with goalkeepers first. Like we always start with goalkeepers; it's tradition. And I think, funnily enough, we're recording this on the 18th, right? Or the 17th. We're recording this on the 17th, and actually one of the players who will be heavily like under the microscope, I think, just got the green light to join. So would you all like to do the honors to ring in the potential first fraud watch candidate?
Yeah, actually, it's not confirmed by the club yet. It's not official, but
It's
in
pretty
terms-
official.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
know what official do you need? You need like
Yeah.
how West Ham did it or how Ajax did it?
I mean, like
The
how,
guy in
like
the
basically
jersey.
a club
Just left the
announcement.
club,
Yeah,
yeah.
but our
I think it will have to go catastrophically wrong for this not to go through now.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
that's Andre Onana. Like we've watched him in the Champions League final. He's a baller of a keeper, but we talked offline, and he does give a little bit of a Claudio Bravo type of vibe. In terms of height, he is way taller, right?
Yeah.
I know Bravo was like below 6 foot, but Onana's like 6'2". I'm not very sure, but he's a great ball playing keeper. Definitely leagues above David De Gea's ball playing skills. In terms of shot saving ratio, I think De Gea beats him a little bit, but Eric Ten Hag wants him. And to think about it, he was a free agent before signing for Inter Milan,
Yeah.
and now they are selling him off for a reported £50 million fee thereof. Yeah, so he's coming into Manchester United with a lot of wind behind his back on how well he has done in the Champions League and for Inter Milan as well. Was he the goal? Did he win the Golden Glove
In the
for
Champions League?
League?
I don't think so.
I know he had a crazy like.
I
Clean
think
sheet
Golden
ratio.
Glove may have still been like, it's probably Edison, right? I don't think City conceded many goals throughout the run.
Why?
Barely conceded a goal, to be
Let me
honest.
let me
recall.
fact check that.
I don't
Quick check.
think it was Edison though.
Quick check.
Golden Glove, as in you mean least goals conceded or like goalkeeper? of
No,
the
clean
tournament?
sheets.
Clean
Most clean
sheets,
sheets.
right?
It has to be Edison,
Most
I
clean
feel.
sheets.
You guys were like annihilating teams like 7-0, 3-0, 4-0.
Well, on
yeah.
that note, since Sash is checking up, I know you want to go for.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of vouch for the Odana shout lah, because I did watch. I mean, I don't really watch like Italian football, but when I watched the final, I did see how Onana plays. I think ball distribution wise, really good. Like I think he's, I would say, kind of on par with Edison. I think he's more skillful in terms of distribution with the ball running on the ground as compared to like Edison, who does a lot of like whipping and overhead passing. So lots of potential. I think.
Death-defying goal line clearances.
Yeah.
Okay, just to fact check from Wikipedia, Andre Onana has indeed earned himself the Golden Glove.
Oh, nice,
Right,
nice.
Yeah.
As in the Golden Glove for the Champions League, it's not the amount of clean
Performance
sheets, it's
based,
performance
right?
based. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Ah, right, right.
based on merit, he has won the Golden Glove. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
Fair enough.
fair enough.
I think people might be like wondering why the heck we are singing his praises yet throwing him in on fraud watch.
That's
but
the beauty
that's
of
that's the
fraud
whole
watch.
point of it. I think goalkeepers especially are under so much scrutiny, and you know I think the manner in which De Gea was essentially booted out of Man United has left a bit of a sour taste in some fans' like mouth. I still don't really know what the heck went down like with his contract negotiations, but I think like the difficulty for Onana is that he needs to really get going right away.
Yep.
You know, like
Hit the ground running.
just like one error could derail everything, could get the media on his back, could, you know, especially playing for like such a team of such a stature like Man United, right? Everything you do is just gonna be exemplified. So I think that is the main reason why he's like on this list. Also, cause for goalkeepers besides Alisson, maybe I can't think of many other keepers. With Kepa, of course. I can't think of many other keepers that were worth more than Onana. So the price tag definitely plays a part. And yeah, it will be a real test of his mettle to see how fast he can adapt to the Premier League.
I mean, just an honourable shout, right? Like, are we unanimous with the Onana?
Oh no, I
front
threw
watch?
Ramsdale into mine, man.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's
there we
interesting, actually. I feel like Ramsdale gets... I know he's not perfect, but I feel Ramsdale gets a lot more flat than I feel sometimes it's warranted. But yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all let me
No,
know.
no. I mean, I think Sash and I talked about this during last season, some of the podcasts, and we did agree that the season before Ramsdale was doing much better than last season, and I would dare say last season defensively, I'm talking about the back line, not the goalkeeper itself. I think defensively we're more astute last season, probably with the players, just by players itself. That's why this season, with even more players that we purchased for the defensive and CDM
Joloff right here.
I would dare say that I think there's a lot more running for him getting like a top goalkeeper, like, or at least get back to the form that he was when he first signed. I think there should be more responsibility on him now.
I still feel, right, that it's gonna come back and bite me, but I don't think
I love
you
this.
win the Premier League with
With
Ramsdale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hot takes.
Oh, this is my first hot take of
we
episode.
got a sound clip this.
I don't know, like I feel that he is.
But realistically, on that note, right? What other keeper would you have?
On Ederson, man. Like,
Yeah,
straight
but Ederson's with
Straight up.
City already. So it's like it's not like Pep's gonna sell Ederson, right? And if they do, then City's
I
chances
mean, why
of
not I just pass the ball to Lionel and he can. I mean, he's been complaining about Ederson after a while. After I widened his eyes on how bad Ederson was, I opened his eyes. Like at first, he was a bit unsure about it. He was like, "Nah, man, Ederson's like the bomb. His ball playing skills are so good."
I would say Ederson like first 2 seasons was quite dope.
He was really good.
Ederson first season,
Yeah,
hands
he
down
was good. That confidence and that what, right?
And then I'll just take it away, man.
yeah, Lionel, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like you guys covered, right? Like Ederson, I think within the first couple of seasons, quite early on, he was a remarkable keeper. I think as the seasons progressed, right, my brother did say that, in terms of ball playing, I think he's one of the best in the league, potentially best in the world. But in terms of like your bread and butter, which is shot saving, he is absolutely horrible. And after a while, I started to really start to understand what kind of position he's coming from, and I really got to see like certain shots that were so simple he couldn't save it. And then I think at the end of the day, as a goalkeeper, your
bread and butter.
is to stop shots, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of grew a bit annoyed from the way he played. And then I think one particular game that kind of made it, like kind of broke it for me was the game against Spurs. I think even though we beat them 4-2, right? I think the first 2 goals were we considered were just purely his errors. So I think honestly, Ederson has been riding on the back of City's strong defense.
So it's a case of like if he was playing for a Nottingham Forest or something,
I think he'll be
getting dunked on
easily,
every 5 minutes.
That's why on that note that I felt like, as compared to City, Arsenal's defense last season, I would dare say wasn't as great. So even now, moving forward, maybe we have more squad depth now. I was just looking at a stat, right? Arsenal's first team, I was sharing this with Lionel earlier, that Arsenal's first team defenders played about 30 games average each, whereas City's one is very well balanced, around like 20 something per defender, minusing Rico Lewis because he came later in the season. But with that, right, there was good squad rotation where Arsenal didn't have. So right now with the purchases, I'm hoping that there's more squad rotation with as well the Champions League to play with. So we don't have a second keeper. I think probably City has the same problem as well. There isn't a strong... Well, Chelsea was the only one with a strong second keeper at some point of time. Well, most of the time, actually. Well, relatively. Like, my second keeper is... Well, Alex...
Was it Randerson?
Yeah. I mean,
No,
Turner
Turner, right?
for last
Turner,
season. So on this note, like, I would put Ramsdale there just because I feel we are more prepared for next season. This season coming already.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be more under the microscope
Yeah,
this season.
But if we want to go Onana, man,
But like since you all brought up Chelsea, right? I'm actually really surprised you guys are going into the new season with Kepa. I don't know. Like I know he was kind of number one last season, but it doesn't say much because the campaign was a disaster. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on Kepa? Like at one point, I really thought he was like damaged goods. Right now, it's new manager, but as much as you say you're not going to win a league with Ramsdale, I can say the same thing about Kepa.
We're not going to win the league. That's the thing. So.
But then, do you feel that's a position you guys have to really like shore up?
Okay, I think right now, Kepa is decent for what our aspirations for this upcoming season is. Definitely not winning the league. In terms of positions that we need to strengthen, I don't think goalkeeper is the position that holds the highest priority because we are in dire need of midfielders because right now we have like Enzo and Gallagher. Yeah,
fair enough.
And Kepa is a good shot saving keeper in terms of like reflex saves, but when it comes to long shots, right? I
feel like he overcomplicates a lot of things.
Maybe
like crossing, I never feel comfortable when he comes up for crosses.
Yeah, it's a bit. I feel that the Premier League's a bit too physical for him,
which is weird because physicality wise, he's kind of like quite an imposing.
Maybe it's a psychological thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you can't let Premier League teams have long shots against him, which is the reason why I think his confidence was like hampered a lot because of how Lampard defended. Like you can't defend deep and you can't let him face long shots, basically. Yeah, which is the reason why I think Pochettino right now, he's a more of a pressing tactic sort of person. So in terms of getting time to take a long shot out of the box, like opposition teams won't have that many chances right now.
Right.
Yeah, but I think this season, I think all Chelsea fans, we have kind of accepted the fact that we're going to ride it out with Kepa and see how it goes from there. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Centre backs, right backs.
One more keeper though. I mean, we're not picking anyone, right? But I feel this guy needs to have a big season. David Raya needs to have a big season because I think that Spanish goalkeeper number one slot is up for grabs. He didn't get his move away from Brentford. Brentford may themselves have a bit of a hangover.
United might still be able to go for him.
Well, United aren't going to splash 40 million on another goalkeeper. If anything, Spurs got spooked by his
but Spurs,
his valuation.
Is he not going?
He's not going.
Chelsea.
Yeah, he's not going.
Spurs already signed like a replacement who is not on this list because, quite frankly, I think no one's has high expectations for him.
It's a bit messy with the whole Raya and Flecken situation at
I think
Brentford.
he's fine.
Brentford have with Strakoschka have three keepers who could all easily be first choice.
Yeah.
So is Raya not linked anywhere else?
I think no one wants him for 40 mil.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
So he's like, is he gonna be reinstated as first team keeper?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the whole point why they value him so highly is because they don't want to lose him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it could be an L for them in the sense where if he doesn't have a stellar season, then suddenly you're like we were talking about Hudson-Odoi just now, right? Like your valuation at 40 right now might like suddenly drop to 15 or something next year. So I think he had to be in that conversation. But let's move on to right backs because we always stay away too long on goalkeepers.
Yep.
Right backs. Anyone?
Right back. I feel he's a perfect. And both these English right backs could easily go on Fraud Watch, but I think Reece James needs to have a monster season. I think I know how good Reece James is, but with Chelsea's like sort of decline, I think
So do we count injuries as a?
You have to, right? Because it's unfair, but if you are constantly like unavailable, then
But that's like Chile B and like Reece James. immediately on the line.
100%. Like,
You know, my brother has always been saying that Reece James is a better right back than Trent.
oh, he is.
But I think, you know, like you said, right? I mean,
Optics.
your
You have to
injury
play,
and your
yeah.
fitness
You have to-
has to
Yeah.
plays a huge part. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, if Reece James goes off injured again, like maybe after the first couple of games,
it's
I
going to be
think-
very tough, man.
yeah, it's gonna be very,
Very
difficult.
tough,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I-
you can have one of the best right backs in the world in your team, but if he doesn't play, then it means squad, right?
I think
Yeah.
everyone do put a certain amount of Reece James. Like they know his talent and they want him to succeed, but it's just the injuries. It's fine. It's true that he needs to maintain that level of fitness.
It's also for himself, right? Like, we don't know how he feels behind the scenes. I'm sure, like, the last season was very frustrating for him because, number one, he was injured for
Yeah.
pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
He was seeing what was going down at Chelsea, so it must have been doubly, like, frustrating for him. And now, with all these outgoings at Chelsea, he is, like, essentially the poster boy, right?
Yeah,
Because
is he like the longest player there now?
I don't think he's the longest.
No, I don't think so.
He's
Kepa-
homegrown.
Kepa's
But
homegrown.
but he is like the poster boy, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he's
with
future captain material.
with Conor Gallagher though. Are they were homegrown talents? Yeah.
And formerly Mason Mount.
Hey. Who? Well, you got Reece James. Who do you have
few actually
as a
but
right
yeah.
back?
I felt James was someone who is like a weird one, but I think he needs a monster season.
I have Trent and Rico Lewis.
Rico-
Trent just because like I think
Rico
towards the
Lewis.
last part of the season they got used to. I think he's now converting to the inverted right back play. I think they got a hang of it on the last season, towards the end of the season. So I'm looking to see what Klopp does with the formation in the season coming
he
forward.
cut his hair, man. He's back.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Prime trends.
Prime Trent is in. And then with the new midfield trio, trio, maybe trio. We don't know about that yet. Maybe that will strengthen the whole Liverpool midfield and less reliance on Trent defensively on the right wing. So if they do stabilize that, I do see him blooming into something.
Yeah.
Rico Lewis, I just want to see him bloom, man. I mean, Walker is going out.
Yeah.
Cancelo is going out. That position is kind of
Mm-hmm.
his. But also coming back to City as well, playing the 3-2-3.
It's
Honestly,
3-2.
like City could
I don't know,
play
man.
like four centre backs.
Everyone is playing this new thing, this 3-2.
Yeah.
This
Which is the reason why I'm gonna sidestep the whole fullback talk, because I think right now, in terms of the Premier League, football has changed in
Yeah.
terms of like the depth of like the fullbacks and
Traditional
more forward,
fullback.
and everyone's playing like 2-8s right now. You can see with Arteta that Zinchenko is playing that inverted fullback position, and Stones as well. He has converted into that right back, but he plays in that inverted midfield. So I think, which is the reason why I think fullbacks in general are being slowly phased out. Like you talk about Burnley as well. My guys finally up from the
trenches.
gulags of the championship. Yeah, like Company also plays a similar way. Which is the reason why instead of putting a fullback on Fraud Watch, I know that you guys thought I would be putting Trent in, right? But I'm actually looking at his Liverpool counterpart, Virgil van Dijk, because we all know how good he is, right? Southampton, and then his first 2 seasons at Liverpool. And then after getting that injury, no thanks to Jordan Pickford's madness. Doesn't look the same. Yeah, I know in terms of like the mental strength that it takes to recover from such a bad injury, the physical toll, the psychological stress that it has on him. Definitely, he will not ever be the same Virgil van Dijk that we have seen in his prime. But his performances, man, like last season, like I don't know if you guys seen like this clip on the social media where this Arab commentator called him I forgot who was it. I think it was like a Spurs winger. He was
yes.
one-on-one with Virgil van Dijk, and then he did
Perisic.
like the limbo. Perisic.
Then he got memed, right?
Yeah, and then the Arab commentator
It
told
looks a
him
lot
that
worse in still pictures lah. When you
Right.
watch the actual clip, it's like
he was
he
labelled
slid-
Virgil van Maguire, and like it's not just that particular incident. It was a few others. Yeah, it's not the same, but he needs to have a like Reece James, right? You said that due to his injury, like you can't say that. You can't say yeah, you can't say, oh, it's because of your injury, so that's why you're not playing that well. I could say the same thing for Virgil van Dijk. He needs to have a
For sure.
monster season.
The thing about Van Dijk, I think, is at a crossroads, right? Because he was for so long like imperious, like he was so much of what was good about Liverpool, and I think last season it's easy to single him out, but the whole team was like a shambles for a while. I think he has to readjust the way he plays, because there was one game in particular that I think highlighted Van Dijk's actual ability and what he thought his ability was, and that was against Brentford. It was Brentford away. I think we were playing a really high line. It was like, who's that? Mbuemo.
Yeah.
So like normally Van Dijk can give a few yards on his attacker because he knows he's fast enough to get it, but Mbuemo just toasted his ass, man. And I think you could see his reaction, and he was shocked because I think for him normally like 2 or 3 strides and he gets the ball, nowhere close to it. So I think like it was similar with John Terry, right? The reason why John Terry was at the top of the game, his game for so long, was because he was able to adapt. So for Van Dijk, I think to eke out another 2 or 3 years at Liverpool at the top, he needs to be able to sort of reimagine the way he plays. He can't just keep relying on his speed, because it's just not what it used to be.
But isn't that a Klopp system?
For sure,
issue?
it's a Klopp thing, and it's also a player thing. Like he needs to know his limitations now, and I think him and the whole team got progressively better with the whole changing of the shape the last 10 games. But yeah, I hope we see more of the old Van Dijk rather than what I saw for the first half of last season, because looked like a shell of himself. Same with Fabinho, right? But Fabinho was like on his way to Saudi, so yeah, for better or worse. I know we are like deviated from fullbacks, but we gotta talk about someone who just signed for Arsenal, Julian Timber.
I didn't put him on the list because I don't know if he's gonna be a primary player or secondary player. So,
Do you think he's better than Ben White?
That's the thing, right? Like, I realistically, in the AX system, he looks great, but if Arteta is gonna try
Dutch league is like a flip of a coin,
right,
man.
right.
It's like you never know what you're gonna get out of the Dutch league.
So on that note, right? I think he's gonna adapt the first season. So I saw some of his stats. He's good ball player, ball carrier, but he's not quite good defensively when it comes to aerial battles.
Yeah, I think I saw that stat as well.
His sliding tackles,
He's very wild.
very prone to sliding.
He's a very Xhaka. Like you guys thought you got rid of Xhaka, right?
Yeah, we got
but
Xhaka,
you guys signed Xhaka
right back
back,
Xhaka, man.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think Ben White is still going to helm his position. Because if I'm right, it's probably Zinchenko, Saliba, Gabriel Saliba, and probably White still. At least for the
To start the
3 games.
season, yeah.
And then you slowly.
I think as long as you guys don't have to end up playing Rob Holding, like you guys had to in the run-in,
see.
like that's ultimately what cost you guys.
And he's only 179. I mean, we're going
Timber?
to this.
Yeah.
I don't trust aerial battles. People who don't do aerial battles, but then can't say for Martinez, right? Martinez.
Martinez was someone who I thought about, but I think he has proven a lot of doubters wrong, and based on the system, I think he'll continue where he left off. I'm not too worried about him. Whoever will be partnering him is another thing, because I know Varane is like there, but Varane always has that question mark over him right now.
You mean like injuries?
Or just form. Like I feel like we've never really seen like the best version of Varane since he joined United. It's not been bad, he just hasn't been like incredible. He's just been very like run of the mill.
Yep.
Especially when you have Upa Maguire behind him. Looks a lot better.
Actually, like I realized on my list, I have quite a lot of Arsenal players just because.
Of course, right?
No. I think it's because of the fact that even Sash said now that we spend so much money, right, we have to win the league.
Yes.
On that
I don't know.
note,
You guys do. when you're up against Man City, like how are you expected to win the league?
That is an excuse. Okay, we'll circle back to.
Oh no, you guys spend 600 mil. Like I don't, we can't match that.
Arsenal are not expected to win the league.
No, but
Challenge,
I think
yes.
there's a certain expectation, a certain amount of expectation.
Wait.
Maybe.
Actually, I wanted to go more into that point, but I think I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
Let's just move the conversation on.
Yeah. Do you have any other right backs that you feel?
Fullbacks, left and right.
Fullback, yeah, fullback.
Yeah, left and right.
Well, Cucurella, of course, but there were stories of him being on the transfer list, but I think Pochettino wants to work with him. And
Very bold. Very bold. of
yeah,
him.
and we know that Chilwell, much like Reece James,
Yeah.
he can hardly stay fit.
Yeah.
So what I want to see is for him this season is a definite improvement because he really set the bar extremely low. I know the whole Dortmund UCL matchup was a one-off lah. He played really well in that game, but it was at a left centre back position.
Yeah.
I want to see him kind of redeem himself as a left back, or rather be an able deputy to Chilwell. Inevitably when he gets injured somewhere during the season. Yeah. So to me, he is on borrowed time. Because at Chelsea we need to have like the best of the best in every position. I know right now we are like in the mud because of what happened last season. Yeah, but
We're gonna get
Road
the best out of
baby
it.
steps, man.
recovery.
Yeah, baby steps.
Road to recovery, man. So right now, Cucurella is definitely on fraud watch for the upcoming season.
All right.
Hopefully, he gets himself out of the gulags.
All
And
right.
yeah,
So, any more fullback choices we have? Or we covered?
I actually have one more guy from Arsenal, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I think Tierney needs, whether he gets it or not,
I don't know whether it was
whether it's at Arsenal or if he gets a move before the window ends, he needs to have a good season.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know whether it was the not fitting the system or was it
He was an
he-
unfortunate victim
yeah.
of the switch in the
yeah,
system.
the switch
Yeah.
in the system. So
because
I'll-
Arteta doesn't like fullbacks who bomb forward.
yeah,
Like I said, it's
Yeah.
a trend now.
yeah,
Like the 2-8s, the
yeah.
two inverted
But
fullbacks.
I think you can only have one. So I'm like
Yes.
thinking if you have Timber, I think you end up playing with Tierney on the side.
That's something that we can only
Yeah.
assume
Yeah,
until
yeah.
we actually watch.
So
yeah,
that's
season
how
run.
that's how I think.
But
they are
I
probably
feel
gonna
with
balance.
Tierney, it's just like there was so much promise when you guys signed him, and
Yeah, I
whether it was through injury or change in system, we're just not seeing it. So
I would still very much want to keep him on the.
it sounds harsh, but I think for like Arsenal fans and just football fans in general, we need to see.
Yep.
I think a move honestly is the best thing for him.
No,
whether
no,
you agree because you guys
yeah.
are Champions League now is another thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
I think
he needs
we'll
games lah. He needs
Probably
games for
let
sure.
him sit in for one more season and you decide from the January transfer window. I think his contract might as well be running up in like one more season or so.
Yeah.
So it's about time. They'll see it from there.
Yeah.
And I guess another captain material in the squad, considering the amount of changes that we're losing Xhaka, so that's one captaincy kind of lost already. So
Xhaka really completed his like
so
hero's
he
journey.
did the full marathon, man.
he like
He did a full marathon chuck.
I've never seen a player like recover from like something like that. Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair play.
100%. We go on the
One more fullback,
all right.
and this one is like he had a really good season, but as we saw with Cucurella, that one season could very quickly turn into like mediocrity, and it's Pervis Estupinan. I think, much like I mentioned David Raya earlier, right? They need to sort of, because the best players are never remembered for just one season, right? You need to build on that. So you'll see a lot more Brighton players on my list later, but I think Estupinan, fortunately for him, De Zerbi is still there, someone who managed to get the best out of him. And I think with Europa League football, he'll be able to perhaps show even more like continental ability.
Yeah.
So I think he is in line for a big season, but if he fails to hit the heights of last season, it could be a case of Brighton perhaps wishing they cashed in on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it sounds super harsh, but I think that's just the nature. Game's gone. It's just the way the sport
Was
is
he
now.
being linked to any other clubs?
I think they knew Brighton didn't want to sell, so there were no concrete bids, but I knew some clubs were like sniffing around. Especially because fullback is such a limited or difficult position to look for. I feel like we did bring Van Dijk earlier for centre back, but who do y'all have left for defenders? Or in central defense?
Central defense, I do have Saliba in as well. Which also comes back to the thought of like just because like the whole
He set the bar so high.
Yeah, and the whole team is like now strengthened, so it's just to carry on that. That's why I said that I have a lot of Arsenal players, just because like I feel the squad went from one depth to another, and now it's about just upping your game. And now you have UCL, you're not in the Europa League anymore. So, and the re-sign contract, I mean, I'm more than happy for that to happen. So you got to step up.
Fat stacks.
Yeah, fat stacks. I mean, VDV was there. A couple of City players, but I think City stepping up is just maintaining. It's about maintaining. I don't think it's about like your Stones, your Diaz, everyone. It's just about maintaining.
No, I think on the premise of maintaining, right, I actually do have a name from City. I think he kind of flew under the radar because there were many other players who were really good, but it's Manuel Akanji.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
bro, he's amazing.
Like he's amazing. I can't believe he was like 15 million. But
was he 15?
15, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like
think
25
we
or
got
something.
him on like some like GSS sale or something.
I remember he went for damn cheap. I was like,
Yeah.
no one picked him up, and like
He's not like a City, like, you don't expect City to sign players for 15 million.
and he's not even old, so he's there.
It's a very astute signing because we're so used to City dropping like 50 million, 60 million on
soon to
players.
come, soon to come.
No, and funnily enough for him, right, I thought Pep was going to bring him in as like a squad depth player.
Yeah.
But I've seen him, I think apparently he's part of like City's best 11 for the 22-23
I think
season.
his ball possession or ball passing is the top in City's defense. Like his control and the distribution was, I think, the
Okay,
top.
I can't really confirm or deny that, but I think one of the reasons why I kind of put him in this like expectation list, right, is because there are moments that Akanji will switch off, and it's quite evident, especially for that moment in the Champions League final, where he switched off, and then I think Lautaro Martinez just ran past him. And then if you weren't for the heroics of Edison, I think it would have been a different story altogether.
Edison.
So I think Kanji has this tendency, although he has been quite a robust defender throughout the entire season, but yeah, hopefully he's able to stay very alert when it comes to these kind of critical situations. Yeah, but still an amazing signing for his like 50 million price tag.
Now you guys have the most cheat code defense in the league, man. It's
And
honestly
imagine
it's not even fair. Like honestly.
Imagine adding Guardiola into that, which is I know it's not club official, and it hasn't been announced by football Twitter's resident tactic merchant Romano, but according to sources that
I'm more trustworthy.
are more trustworthy who don't go for tap-ins, right?
Yeah.
Guardiola has already signed for City.
City do need that marquee transfer. I feel every year they have like that one marquee transfer, and Guardiola would be it.
Well, imagine that defense.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't want to think about it.
Um.
Wesley Fofana is the one guy I feel,
Oh yeah, he has a big plate to step up to as well.
especially now with
No, I mean,
Koulibaly being
to be
gone.
fair, I think instead of Fofana, you should put Colwill in because he talks a big game.
I
like
did put Colwill in as well.
he talks a big game. Like he has flirted with like Brighton and Liverpool.
Yeah.
He has done well in the under 21 was it Euros?
Yeah.
20 Euros, right? Yeah, so he has to walk the walk. I know he has done it for Brighton, but to do it for Chelsea, right, I know that Brighton finished above Chelsea last season, but it's a new season, and for a club like Chelsea, right, who wants to get back into the top four, yes, you might say, you might actually bargain with Chelsea. If you want me to stay, you must assure me
Matches.
like playing time.
Yeah.
But then again, you have not even played a minute for like Chelsea's first team.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
this.
so who are you to say that? So in order for him, I myself putting him on fraud watch because it's really dependent on how Pochettino analyzes him during like preseason, doing training and all that. But right now, right, in terms of seniority, he should be below Chalobah. I know it's a bit of a hot take to me, but it's because Chalobah has played more minutes than Colwell
about
for
the
him.
first team.
In terms of talent, yes, Colwell definitely I can see.
He needs to
anyone
earn
can
his
see.
stripes in a
Yeah,
way, right?
exactly,
He needs to earn
yeah.
his stripes.
Mm.
I think for Fofana, it's more of the case of like, we saw him at his peak, got that horrendous injury, signed for big money.
Mm.
And I think anytime you splash that kind of money on a player, they have to become sort of like the focal point of
Mhm.
whatever position you're signing him in. So
Yep.
the fact that Thiago Silva is still like the go-to centre back is like alarming to me. He's very good, don't get me wrong, but I think this is the season where
Mm.
either Fofana or Badiashile have to step up
Mm.
and become the guy.
Yeah,
for
I
Chelsea.
think you will see Thiago Silva's minutes being reduced greatly. I mean,
Yeah.
because he's like 39 and he's still our best centre back.
Yeah.
39.
Yeah, he will. I think you will see him and Fofana sharing minutes at the right centre back position where he will
think
play
it's
like
good.
60% and then Fofana plays like 40%. I mean, really dependent on how fit they both
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Colwell and Badiashile contesting for the
other-
left hand
yeah.
side. Yeah, and maybe Chalobah playing like centre defensive midfield or like right back.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
Mm.
midfielders because I feel like we have talked a bit about defenders.
Yeah, I
And
think we
what
have,
better way to start than the
Jolov.
I think this is in no argument. Everyone knows 100 million,
105
105 mil. We gotta see
Yeah.
where this money goes to, right? This is for the. I mean, we're just going
Okay,
to a
wait,
rough
but-
centre mid, right?
Yeah, I
Rough
mean
centre
centre
mid.
mid as
I
well.
wanted to wait, but excluding price tag, right? Do you all think Rice to Arsenal is a good move? Ignoring the price tag for
Yes.
both player and for
Yes.
club.
Yes. He is
yes.
what they need. He
I
is.
think he's also I don't think we are the perfect fit for him, as in him individually. I wouldn't mind seeing him at any of our clubs. Realistically, I think he'll fit in all our clubs.
No, which is the reason why he was so
Sought after.
highly sought after because he could fit anywhere.
Probably he wouldn't go Chelsea just.
I mean, he
'cause you
wouldn't go
have-
Man City because they have Rodri.
They
I
ruined.
I sent you all
someone.
the picture of Bruno Fernandes training with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to scupper the deal
Riling
at the
things up.
11th hour.
But yeah, I think it works both ways. Just at this moment, it just works both ways. And I think Arsenal just proved that they wanted him more with the 105. And I think realistically, as a Londoner, he doesn't need to move out of town. He doesn't need to find another house. Just
Yeah, but for that
Look at
price
you
tag,
thinking
right?
about the logistics.
For that price tag, right?
Yeah,
he needs to have 8 out of 10 games every single game.
It's like, but then again,
I mean, I don't expect him to score, but I expect him to.
He needs to be like the linchpin. Like
Yeah,
everything good that
Nah,
goes through
nah.
Arsenal needs to be through
so
him.
then my other name will be Enzo on this list as well, because he came
Fair
in with
enough.
such a hefty
100%.
price
Yeah,
tag.
yeah.
I would dare say last season wasn't his best, just also because of the Chelsea squad.
No, then again, right? His over the top through balls were good. It's just that no one could
The
finish,
squad.
which was
Yeah,
why he
that's why-
couldn't
That's why I
be
said
credited
like, the
with
squad.
assists.
So I would say both of them are in my list. Enzo and Rice.
I mean,
Because
you could throw Caicedo in there as well. No matter whether he stays at Brighton or whether he goes to like another club.
The thing
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
difference I feel between Rice and Enzo now is that Rice is based on the people around him. He's more set up to succeed. I think Enzo needs, ironically, someone like Caicedo next to him to really flourish. Because if it's just Enzo by himself or with Gallagher, right, you're not gonna get the best out of him.
Yeah. So that's why I think on that note.
So I
that's why
think
the Arsenal
it's
system-
heavily reliant also on how Chelsea
Mm.
sort of invest alongside him.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Caicedo probably in the list as well.
A lot of defensive mids like Tonali as well.
Yes,
okay, wait.
that was the name that I
I-
wanted.
I
Yeah.
left Tonali out just because he looks
No,
like he doesn't even want to
bro.
be there.
Tonali is like the definition of a fraud watch guy.
Bro doesn't look like he wants
he's
to
like
be there.
Lukaku, but in CDM waiting to happen. Like I know Cash, who will be watching this. He's a big Newcastle fan,
Cash.
and he was ecstatic, right? From what I remember with the Tonali signing because he.
I mean,
signing,
it was
it's
a
crazy,
coup.
like-
It was a coup for
like
sure.
like Tonali signing would finally release Bruno Guimaraes to be a bit more advanced
I
in
also
the midfield
have Bruno
position.
G in my list because of that reason.
But the vibe that he's been giving ever since he signed for Newcastle and he held up the
yeah, bro.
classic black and white shirt,
It's,
right?
it's like it's like in SpongeBob when he was forced to work at the chum bucket.
Bro, it's like the Lukaku interview, but fast forward to like even before the season
They were
began.
saying like his girlfriend was more excited about the move than him.
But yeah, I mean, I'm discounting him because he personally didn't want to move there.
I think we don't know,
You-
we
you-
don't
you-
know that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, based off the
the
vibes,
vibes.
that he's giving off,
yeah.
it doesn't already look.
I think the problem that Newcastle might face with Tonali is that he seems like a very, pretty, like all his passes are like, pretty passing. I don't know if he
this is
He
the
has a
thing.
dog in
he,
him,
he
right?
might get smashed in his first game.
This is the thing. I don't think City bought him because he's a pretty ball player.
City, you mean Newcastle?
Yeah, Newcastle bought him is just because he's a passer. In fact, his stats prove that he's actually a box to box more heavily
Okay.
than a ball passer.
Mm.
His passing isn't actually that great at all. Like it's actually proven on stats that his long range passes and distributions are not
what
like
he's about.
like everyone thinks he's the next Pirlo, but actually on stats he's the next Gattuso.
But that's what Newcastle need, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
so
Like
so
the
that's why
destroyer.
on Pascal's note on the ball passing, like I don't think that's why they got him for that. It was to make him the Gattuso in Newcastle so that Bruno G gets out.
Yeah, but like what Pascal said, he could be clattered in his first game.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and added to the fact that he didn't want to come to Newcastle, he'll be like, this is not for me, man.
No, I remember I sent you guys that meme that someone made. It was that you
The
know on
gym one?
No, on FIFA, when like one of your players get homesick.
Oh,
And then they like said the weather here is too gloomy and stuff, and then they like I want to get transfer listed so I can go to another club.
Isn't Newcastle pretty rainy?
Yeah.
It's a really rainy part
Cash,
of
cash,
England,
cash.
right?
This
Yeah,
is to you.
Look, it's one of those transfers that could either be, it could take Newcastle to the next level, or it could, completely like
It's one of those
be a
transfer
dud.
boo-boo.
Yeah, it's on paper it's a real coup, but we'll have to see. Jury's definitely out. But yeah, I think for this episode, Tonali, more so than Rice, it was definitely like one of those that had to be here.
Any more midfielders that you guys might want to add?
I mean, there's
More
one
offensive ones?
there's one very glaring one for Man City, who only played 2 games,
but
but he won the treble anyway, which is like Calvin Phillips lah.
Right,
I think at one point of time, since we have our poster boy over there, I think at one point of time, right, people were comparing Rice and Phillips, but now I think
mean, at
fast
one point,
forward,
yeah.
but now fast forward to where we are today, right? I mean, the difference in terms of levels is huge.
huge.
And like I think there's still a play in him. I think I did mention it a couple of times in the pod. But I think if he really wants to, I think he has also made known his view that he doesn't want to leave City. He wants to cement his position.
I bet he doesn't want to leave City.
Yeah,
bro.
I
Like,
mean
why would
he
you
has already lifted
He
like
has won the treble.
he has won the treble, right? And I think he's hungry for more. But I think if he wants to really break into that squad, he really has to perform at a much higher level than it is right now. Like I remember the last game he played was against Southampton in the Carabao Cup, and he was horrible lah. So
he had just come back from like injury or something.
yeah,
right?
and then after that, when City won the Prem, he played the very last game against Brentford, and then they lost as well. So like, doesn't really look good for him. But I think, as a City fan, I'll still give him a season or 2. If he continues performing at that level, I think he's someone that has to move on. Yeah, so I think this player really screams fraudulence.
I know that they are different players, but do you think the arrival of Kovacic is gonna sort of affect his?
Oh, you're gonna love Kovacic, and I don't mean it in an ironic way. Like I feel that he was being used wrongly in that. Then again, almost all Chelsea players were used wrongly
Number one,
this season.
He's Croatian.
Yeah.
So
But essentially, you're getting a player
Under Pep,
who
man,
is
it's gonna
as
be
good
crazy.
as
yeah.
Bernardo Silva technique-wise, but in that midfield.
I think Pep specifically sang many praises of Kovacic. Like he said that this guy can play anywhere. So like I think if Pep can identify such a player in Kovacic, which I couldn't. I'm looking for many good things from him this season. I'm not sure whether he will slide like straight into the first team or what, but I think
there's this bidding process.
yeah, but I think
Ballot.
it sounds quite promising.
But midfield with Rodri and Kovacic, like that is just like IQ points
Yeah.
times infinity, man. It's just like big brain midfield.
It's like
And
game distribution by like
yeah, all
Yeah.
pretty athletic as
Xavi
well.
and
so-
Iniesta vibes.
You can
Mm.
you can finally start watching Kovacic banging in goals, man. Yeah,
The shackles are off.
yeah, man. Football terrorism shackles are
Since
off.
we're on this note, since we move
Why,
out
why don't we
of
talk
the-
about more Chelsea players that are free from the football
Okay.
terrorism? We got two more to talk about.
I mean, yeah, Kai's on the list. Kai's on my list. Since we're moving to a more central to offensive,
Yeah, more offensive. Yeah.
Kai's on my list. I still do not understand why we paid that much for him. Granted, he's young. That's the only thing I can think of.
His off the ball runs, man. He had like in terms of stats, right? He was number one in terms of runs into the box.
I don't know if I'm paying 70 mil for that. Like, the 100 mil for Rice seems more justified now if I did that measurement.
Dude, you'll be worth 70 million if you run into the box a lot.
Yeah, so he's getting paid for his work rate.
It's the cheekbones.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I still do want to see him because I also do think they got him for squad depth.
Yep.
Pretty much same thing, UEFA run. That's why a lot of the Arsenal squad purchases,
Yeah.
I have them a lot on the list because either they step up or
He was supposed to be a Xhaka replacement, but in terms of defensive,
yeah, I don't think
tactically wise, right? I don't think he is as astute.
I'm not even surprised
Xhaka?
if Odegaard drops a bit more defensive for him to get more.
But then again,
offensive.
Odegaard is not very
Yeah, that's why I was
astute
very
defensively as well.
confused. And Kai has more physique in the height section at least.
I mean,
As
I
compared to
think
Odegaard.
which is the reason why I think Zinchenko will tuck in more.
Yeah, so
Zinchenko and Rice in
I have
front
to
of
see
that
more
defense.
games happen before I can
Yeah.
know what's happening. Another one on my list is the number 8 for Liverpool.
The Wi-Fi password.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to butcher his
The
name.
Hungarian Hungarian Nathan Redmond.
Dominic.
Great purchase. I'm not gonna lie, good purchase. I would like to see what he's gonna do.
I'm just glad we finally have a player who can take long shots.
I'm surprised we left out McAllister though.
And McAllister is gonna be fine. He's just gonna go under the
I guess because he
radar.
went for 35, like it's
yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Like win or lose, it's
I'm just
okay.
like the problem Liverpool have had for so long is our decision making, especially in the final third, is like garbage. Like we don't know, like we always overplay and then we end up losing.
You
the
guys
ball
sure
and
it's
we get
just sign
countered.
Kai? Like I would trade.
Kai at Liverpool, I
would
don't
trade.
think it will work.
I would trade.
Kai is not a Liverpool type player.
Yeah. I think McAllister is in terms of his decision making is like one of the best. He will help tidy a lot of things up in that final third. So Bosley, I'm not gonna pretend like I watch a lot of Leipzig games. I know Cash was actually
Oh bro,
very excited when
Oh right,
Newcastle
I
were
remember the
front
pod
runners.
when we were doing
Mm.
Nathan and
Yeah.
the three of us when most of you guys were out. Nate, Cash and I, and he was wearing on as a Buzz-Lai, and I was like, yeah, I signed him every time on FM as well.
Yeah.
so I was like, damn, gutted man to be robbed by Liverpool for that.
For sure, he's on fraud watch because of, like
The price
coming
tag.
from Bundesliga, the price tag, and like
It was a release clause activation, right?
Yeah,
release
86
clause.
mil, I think.
No lah, like 70
Nah, bro,
million
I think it's 80.
euros.
Oh damn.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
So
cheap, man.
It was 60 million pounds, 70 million euros, which is for Liverpool, it's like a quite a big chunk of change.
I'm gonna
But
check it out now.
I'm just glad like we have two players now in McAllister and Szoboszlai who actually have energy.
Mm.
Like, dude, I was in the trenches, man. I had to deal with like Fabinho, like the destroyed version of Fabinho and Henderson and like Curtis Jones,
But then again,
who was now suddenly everyone thinks he's the best
Yeah.
thing since sliced bread because of his Euro performance.
like comparing Liverpool to Arsenal right now, right? Like, I think the difference is that Arsenal have that midfield linchpin, that defensive destroyer in Rice. Whereas in terms of Liverpool, I know Henderson has left to join Gerrard.
Not yet, actually.
Not
I
yet.
feel like
I
that's
mean,
gonna
he's
fall through
Oh really?
yeah.
because they wanna get him on a free transfer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, both your midfield linchpins, your
Fair enough,
destroyers,
yeah.
are linked to moves elsewhere.
I think Fabinho is gone. We can. I think it's safe to assume.
Yeah, I
he'll-
think
he
if
will
they
leave.
get the cash funds in, then they'll get someone. What more?
I mean, they have
defensive?
to because
Yeah,
you can't play in a Premier League with no midfield destroyers.
Just buy Caicedo also. Then you have the whole Brighton team on your
oh
Brighton
gosh.
midfield. I mean, that would be red.
You know, I wouldn't be shocked
I wouldn't be
if
shocked,
Liverpool
but
bid for
if that went
Caicedo.
through, I'll be like, wow, it's I mean, just nice, right? Brighton
Yeah.
is like next to Southampton on the UK map, so
Gosh.
since one relegated, you just take the other team's player now.
Yeah.
I mean, like Lallana can put in a good word. Milner can put in a good word. But
Oh,
we don't have the
Agent
money.
Milner, that's why
we don't have the money, but we'll see.
Gosh.
Who else?
What about the United?
The real Bruno?
Real Bruno, I think he'll be fine.
Real Bruno, if he gets the captaincy, just for the memes, I want to put him in.
Yeah.
there.
Wait.
Actually,
Who's
wanna
the
get-
real Bruno? Like Fernandez?
Yeah.
Oh.
We call Bruno G. So
Right. Okay.
Fernandes, I guess.
Okay.
the number 2 Bruno?
Yeah. Number 2 Bruno. Just for the memes,
Yeah.
yeah. If he gets captaincy.
I think this is his first season in a while where he'll be like probably top dog at United because De Gea is gone.
Yeah, that's why.
Ronaldo is gone.
Yeah.
Sancho never stepped up.
Casemiro?
I don't
Maybe
think
him
he'll
and
be capped.
Casemiro will
Yeah,
share
I think
the
they'll
armband.
vibe. I think they'll vibe.
Yeah, maybe.
How about their amigo in that midfield tree? I actually want Nate's thoughts on this, but he looks pretty busy
Who? Ericsson?
behind the camera.
Not
Who?
Eriksen.
Ericsson?
Yeah. Oh, he's reaching for the mic now.
Oh.
Yeah. So what do you think of like the
Hey,
Mason Mount signing, man?
Hey, Nate, elect amount.
Mason Mount. I think he's exactly who we need because I remember watching the FA Cup final against City and realizing that when I saw like Rodri and whoever else was just pushing through the midfield that Christian Eriksen just doesn't have the legs. So when he doesn't have the legs and Bruno's not really very good defensively, Mason Mount looks like someone who will at least put in a shape, get back
Okay.
to put bodies behind. I mean, he's not that great defensively, but I think he does at least cover. He adds another layer, and he does move box to box. So I think he is quite critical to what Ten Hag's trying to do in terms of playing a bit quicker.
I think you guys are in the camp of saying that Mason Mount is not that spectacular, but he runs around a lot. I think you're gonna be saying that a lot for this
Hence
upcoming
the
season.
price tag is similar to Havertz, right? Getting in the box.
I mean,
You could say the
Oh,
same
he's
thing
English.
about you could say the same thing about like McTominay as well. But you can tell that there are levels between the players. At least Mason Mount has good delivery. He can go on set pieces as well. And I think he can also take free kicks. So in the event that he does play when Fernandes is taken off, for example, I think he's good in at least covering that area.
I think I'm coming from a very biased side, so I'd like to hear like the rest of the guys' thoughts on Mason Mount to United and whether he made the right move. I think
Yeah,
I know how about
should go.
you because you've been hearing my side of the story a lot.
Yeah, you.
So I want like a
Please
neutral
convert to
point
us.
of view.
No, I think for my brother's case, homegrown Chelsea boy is always a pain.
Portsmouth.
Yeah,
He's a Portsmouth boy.
Portsmouth David Beckham.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a pain to lose a player that who has been so loyal to the club, right? And to a distant rival as well. I think Mason Mount, there's definitely a player in him, but what I would say is that is he really worth that price tag? I think no. To be honest, he's not worth that price tag. And I think in the last season or two, Chelsea hasn't really utilized him. I mean, Chelsea never really utilized most of their players well.
Yeah, we're
but
just a graveyard.
yeah, but for Mason Mount especially, I think because of how Chelsea has been playing him, I think like it makes his valuation like fall by so much because you no longer see what Mason Mount can truly offer to the squad anymore. So I think United, when they begin the season in the next month, right, it's gonna be a bit of a difficulty for Mount to adapt very quickly. So I think it's gonna be an adaptation season for him.
Okay, the thing about Mount, right, is he was his best when Tuchel played him in a right winger in a front three. But Ten Hag wants to use him in that midfield as a part of a midfield three
Yeah.
position. So he has a lot more responsibility in firstly defensive covering.
Yeah.
And in terms of being a more creative hub.
Yeah.
So whether Ten Hag can coach it out of him is one thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mount is on the bench for the first couple of games because Eriksen's a lot more used to that role. Yeah, but
No chance.
I
Gotta start from
I
day
think
one.
I think Mount has shown a couple of glimpses of that he's quite good at chasing people down as well.
you could say the same for
Game.
Fred. So are you telling me that?
Fred can't finish?
Yeah, no, but in terms of if you're gonna get someone to chase people around, then why sell Fred? So you're basically selling Fred to bring in the English version of Fred. So there's no real upgrades.
I think he's meant to be more like a system player, because he can cover more positions than.
I mean, I'm
and
saying
with-
this out of
Spite.
Yeah, but with Sancho, with that question mark with Sancho and all that, whatever is happening. So I guess
Is
that's
that like a
another thing.
segue? Or are we gonna
Uh,
talk more about like central midfielders?
Yeah, I mean,
But
he's on the list.
I think for United fans, the biggest thing about Mount is that they see how much Ten Hag wanted him. It wasn't like we couldn't get someone else, so we're going to get Mount. With, at least for this season with Ten Hag, with Onana and Mount now, right? You could tell that it was very deliberate. And I guess it really then boils down to, are you a fan of Eric Ten Hag? If you believe in what Ten Hag is doing, you then you buy into the players he's getting. Same as Havertz, right? Like Arteta clearly sees something in Havertz, so it's more to do, right? It's more to do with, do I rate my manager? Do I see the potential there? But for Mount, I think it just went horribly wrong at Chelsea. I think he felt disrespected, coupled with seeing how interested and how serious Ten Hag was about making him like a cornerstone of his team. So I think him leaving Chelsea, I know it's tough for Chelsea.
He went there for
fans.
the bag. He just went there for the bag.
I mean, he could have got a
Let's
bag.
be
He could have got
honest.
a bag at Chelsea too.
No, but United were offering him more. Like they were offering him close to what he wanted, which was 300k. He's no way a 300,000 pound a week player, man. Like,
Well, we'll find out next season.
Yeah.
This season.
I guess so.
I think something must have just gone really wrong in behind the scenes for Mount.
Like
'cause
you guys saw the farewell message he gave to the Chelsea
Yeah,
fans,
we were talking
right?
about
like,
it. That it looks so half-assed.
Like
right?
he was blonde, and then like next day after they announced his like United announced his signing, right? Then he had like a different hairstyle.
I think I'm
so
too-
that was like pre-recorded.
I think I'm
weeks
too
ago.
numb to these kind of things because I actually sent it to Sash and I was like, oh, he at least sent a message to you guys. And Sash was like, this is so lame. But I don't know, like I've seen like so many, like I've seen Torres, Suarez, Mascherano, Alonso all leave.
I didn't even see Sanchez.
And
but-
none of them, like, I didn't get any, like, farewells from any of them, so I think I'm just numb to it. But, yeah, Mount much like Onana, I feel, and surprisingly, it's two United players, but I feel Mount was the one signing this season that Chelsea fans were very against, and some United fans weren't convinced either, so I think he's in a bit of a tough spot. I think Havertz, at least, I think he's won over the Arsenal fans a bit more. There's a bit more hype, I can tell. There's a bit more excitement. But with Mount, there's still
It's
very much.
AFTV, dude. They
yeah,
hype
yeah,
everyone.
I think it's just
And
Arsenal
not
players.
giving the number 7 to Mount also might put more pressure on him. So,
Mm.
which is kind of dumb. Like to me, it's just a number. But
Yeah, the thing about Mount, right? I mean, just to a final summary of this transfer. He left for a transfer fee which was deemed too high in terms of like not just United fans, neutral fans as a whole. So if he does, I do agree with you. If he doesn't hit the ground running, right, and he has like a run of bad games to the point where like maybe Eriksen is being called to play in front of him, the fans are gonna turn on
so
him.
this is why you
into,
feel
like, a
he's
very
not going to
divisive-
start right away.
I mean, he's a mercenary. Like, he went for the bag. That's all I got to say. lah. And the thing about players that go for the bag, and you know United, they are a club that offers players quite a high wage salary, which is the reason why some of them just go there and say, hey, I've got it. I've reached the epitome of in terms of how much I can earn. like in a Premier League cup.
Rashford
Like,
is gonna get a very nice bag, by the way. He's about
Yeah.
to sign a 5-year deal.
yeah, so like why should I try so hard and being
especially if you have no
yeah
competition in your place.
and being like an English player, right? You know, English players they get this like
English
they get more
tax.
stick
Yeah.
sometimes from their own fans.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is the reason why I think he can't have a slow start at United. Yeah, and he's Ten Hag's boy. Ten Hag said that he wanted him.
Yeah, I
because
remember
he
that.
fits his system. So, I mean, just
We'll see.
good luck, bro.
Just a bit of salt. But yeah, I get it.
We move to the winger-esque
Let's
position.
do
Yeah.
wings. Yeah, let's do
Wings.
wings.
I mean, are you guys gonna throw balloon into that front three?
It has to be a.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna be a hit. I know famous last words, but on the let's start left wing, right? We can get to balloon in a bit, but
Mhm.
I'm throwing one of my guys in, Luis Diaz, new number. Started
fresh out of the hospital.
started off great when we signed him in January, but kind of tapered off, and then he got that bad injury. And
How much do you think his pace will affect his game, like Torres? Just wanna wonder because he's rapid and he has great dribbling ability, and we know how much
For me-
those two goes hand in hand.
for me, the problem with Diaz has always been his decision making. Like he has all the physical attributes to succeed, but like Darwin, for some reason they always
Darwin.
pick the weird wrong choice when it comes to like crunch time, which is why your critique of him when he first joined was he doesn't score enough, right?
DS.
Yeah, when he first joined.
no end product.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like he does everything so well, and then last minute he tries to square it when he should shoot, and he tries to shoot when he should square it. So for me, he needs, assuming he's our go-to left winger, which I think he is, because I think Gakpo is gonna play more centrally. He needs like a Mane type season. He really needs to have like a 20-goal season, and you might laugh at that, but I think for him to hit the next level, he needs to have like close to a 20-goal season. Yeah, and I know
20
it sounds
goals or 20
okay contributions.
contributions,
Yeah,
yeah. 20
contributions.
goals is a bit
It's kind of
insane.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
20
insane.
contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me.
On the left wing, I think I have Mitoma. Just because he set the bar so high. He's another one that set the bar so high. You want to make sure he's
The
not
thing about
one season
Mitoma is
better.
we worry if teams may have.
found him out.
Yeah,
Because
found
he's very right-footed from
Yeah.
what I observe.
Yeah, and I think he's been probably spot out.
He's
the
been
last-
sussed out
last
around
few
the end of the
yeah,
season.
Yeah. But pace and positioning is still quite
Yeah.
scary for that guy.
He has like a was it a master's or PhD in dribbling?
Yeah. But it's
So made up, man.
Yeah.
It's like some fake ass degree.
But it's true.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, just to cut in, because I think this guy he has to make this position his own. Like I'm gonna shift to the right hand side.
Oh right.
Yeah, because of all the it's not
Raheem,
Modric. It's actually someone from City.
I think it's Phil Foden, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
like the rumors of Bernardo and Mahrez, kind of strategizing for moves out of Man City. It's a wonder that Phil Foden has not made that right wing position his own, even after being in Manchester City for so long, since he was 17 or 18.
I swear
Yeah,
this
at
is
the
more
first
of a Pep thing than a Foden thing, man.
Yeah,
Like,
because
Pep
he- in terms
loves
of
his
talent-
mind games.
Yeah, in terms of talent, like
He's
Phil
there.
Foden has backs of it,
Yeah.
but he can't seem to secure a first team position, and I don't think it's because of his talent.
Maybe
I think
it's a
because of his
concentration
conduct.
thing.
His conduct, like he's always on the naughty step for something that he did. Yeah, and I think Walker has kind of accepted a move away from City, right? And Walker is like one of the bad influences in like Foden's life.
Yeah.
So
Schlong,
yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts about it. Like, why isn't Phil Foden cementing that right wing spot?
As in, to be honest, right, I myself am quite curious as well, because we all know that Foden is one like of the better players, or I would say one of the best English players that we know thus far in this generation. So, I mean, to be frank, I think at that point of time before Grealish came in, Pep always used him on the left. And then Pep sometimes play him as left mid, plays him on the right, plays him up front. So I think Pep loves a very versatile player like Foden. But I think to answer your question, I really don't have an answer as well because I really love what Foden can add to the team. You know, where I think at the start, Pep always started with Foden. I remember that game against United, 3 by Haaland, 3 by Foden, and then you can see exactly what kind of attacking threat Foden adds to the team. And I think his chemistry with Haaland is really great as well. So I think, if Mahrez most probably may move to Saudi, if Bernardo leaves as well, I think Foden will have to play in that position and he has to perform at the top level as well. Yeah.
It's his season.
If he wants to make himself like a starting 11 for City, I think next season has to be that season.
But
You know?
is there any scenario where Foden leaves Manchester City?
I don't think so. Yeah.
It would have to
yeah.
be like a super like
Madrid.
conduct issue. Like he tells Pep he's a ball fraud or something.
Yeah, because
Similar to what happened with Cancelo.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was
I'm
thinking about
placing Foden squarely in fraud watch in their right wing position because he has to. Like, there's no one in his way now. Like, Bernardo is unsettled. Mahrez is like,
1 foot
he
out
wants,
already.
1 foot out. So that right wing
Yeah.
position is his to take.
yeah, I agree with that lah. Like, because I think for Foden, right, he did make a comment also lah. He said he said that he wants to be like Gary Neville, winning, like he want to break Gary Neville's record of like having more than 12 Premier League trophies.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think
Isn't he like almost halfway there?
I think
Like
he's
5.
already has like 5, and he's
What the
only
hell?
like what 22.
23. Wow.
22. Yeah, so
Yeah, so
he
after
he has a super long runway ahead of him.
Wait, Neville as a player has the most Prem trophies.
12.
No, I think at the point of time, because Neville was one interviewing him.
Oh,
yeah.
I
So
think
he
Giggs
made
has
a
the
comment.
most.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, so
Giggs
he
has
was
the
like,
most.
I have no plans on leaving City. So I plan to break your record. As in, I break his personal record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think for Foden to move from City, right, it has to be like for him to feel how, you know, I think there was a recent interview where Gabriel Jesus came out and said that.
I was
when-
really surprised that he
when-
did that,
yeah,
by the way.
He said
I
that,
don't know, man.
like,
That
he was
was
training and then
crazy.
Pep played him,
He
played
cried.
Zinchenko
Yeah.
as the false 9, and then he was like, I'm done. So it has to be that
Isn't it
kind.
weird how they are teammates at the freaking squad now, right?
Yeah, it has to be of that kind of like severity for Foden to like decide, okay, I'm done with Pep, I'm done with City, it's time for me to move on. So I don't
I
think,
think playing under Pep
yeah.
must be very tough. It's like you're constantly being like gaslit.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, so on that note, right, there's another player that I not sure where he fits. Alvarez. I
Yeah.
want to see him do well. Like, that guy's future is great, but I just don't know whether he's gonna have game time.
with Alvarez, it's a system thing, man. It's Pep says a lot of things, but he's gone on record to say that he wants to fit Alvarez into his starting 11, but
But he can only play
Yeah.
10 outfield
Yeah.
players.
unless he sacrifices Alvarez and plays him on
Alvarez
the right,
Yeah, that's what I was
which is
thinking,
kind of
which
defeats
I
the point.
which I had a
yeah,
thought
you
there.
kind of defeat the point, right?
Because there's no way. Obviously, Haaland's in this list because everyone wants to see the machine pull off another machine season, or whether. It's
Hey, but
even
Haaland
possible.
didn't have many injuries last year, so
No, bro. That's
He
and
was
he,
well
I mean, he
managed.
skipped the whole World Cup. So
If you guys didn't know, there's a clause in his contract where if he's not fit to play, like
can't
you
play
can
him.
still start him, but you need to take him off early.
all right, that's
Yeah.
great.
It's kind of sus, but
Somewhat.
Uh,
I might be paraphrasing, but
there is a certain
something
thing
along
in
that
the-
line.
Uh,
Balloon. I mean, let's just.
What
You wanna touch
about
upon him?
okay? Like for wingers, we got Anthony. I think he needs
Yeah.
to have a big season,
yeah.
especially with the question marks over Central.
I mean, you just put them both in, lah.
I don't
I
know.
feel
but
like
I
Sancho-
feel like give up.
I
the
feel like
punch.
Anthony, it's more like
it's more recent.
yeah, but Central, it's almost like he's at 2 years now.
Okay.
It's kind
It's
of like a
Dip.
It's a
yeah, it's
decline and it's
it's-
declining further.
I mean, they even put him up for sale if
Yeah.
if rumors or transfer market is.
I
to
don't
be
think it was a
believed.
rumor, man.
Exactly.
I think it's
which
Yeah,
shows
so-
which shows in many ways that they are kind of ready to cut
Yeah.
their losses. But
Anthony, yeah.
I think Anthony needs to have a big season. We can go to Nkunku, especially because Nkunku, that there was the whole 1 year where you had to wait for him. My man was in Bundesliga, seeing all the crap unfold at Chelsea.
he's like, oh,
And,
thank God,
he
thank-
still
thank God,
stamped his
yeah.
passport to
Like,
come
thank God
over.
I
he
did.
didn't have a choice. How could
Yeah.
he already signed the thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he
on my
could
list.
he could do like like a fax machine error.
Oh no, wrong club.
He just breaks his own leg to feel like a medical. But I know Chelsea have had a lot of problems with the striker position, but I mean, if Nkunku doesn't work out at Chelsea, I'm 100% convinced that club is cursed.
Yeah.
Because this guy is like incredible. He has all the tools you need to be a world class.
If he's injured,
attacker.
then who's gonna be the backup for him?
Nicholas Jackson,
Oh yeah, you guys got Nicholas Jackson too.
I think so, but
9 goals a season.
But he will be played in that number 10 role. So I
That-
don't think Jackson plays there.
That Kai was supposed to be.
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
Alright.
Gallagher, that's like a step down.
Wait, so you don't think Nkunku would be like your
I thought
front
Nkunku-
man?
No,
I
I
thought
think
Nkunku would be
I
the-
think right now in terms of like a true number 9, I think Broya is number 9.
I think
Jackson
I think Jackson.
Jackson is not number 9, man.
I don't know why that I feel it's gonna be Mudryk, which he's one of the names. Mudryk, Jackson.
I don't think Jackson starts.
Well, who else do you have? Lukaku.
I think
Lukaku's
Nkunku
dead.
can play as that.
But I
forward.
think-
But he's not.
I think Nkunku works better.
You
at
are
the-
wasting him at that. It's like you're playing Kai back at striker.
They're gonna have
I think they're different, man. I think Nkunku gets you goals.
I think we'll only be more clear on his position
The
like
season-
after
preseason.
preseason, yeah, because he can play striker.
I think if you go into a season expecting to play Broya, you're in a world of hurt, man.
But
Like
did he just come back from injuries as well?
Broya,
yeah, that's
Broya
the-
is
like, he won't-
okay, but he's not. you
he
know.
will slowly be eased into it, but I'm sure
I think
with a,
physically,
with a proper round of games, I think he can be a decent number 9.
physically he's way
Physically,
better
he
as a-
he fits that number 9 role. Jackson
Splash more
Jackson is
cash,
just like he feels like a winger, like or like a.
He's gonna get
floaty-
loaned out in
He's
January.
also not very good aerial in an aerial wise.
You guys loaned out Datro Fofana, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
he's
just
one
got
of
it.
those signings, dude. Just buy now, think later.
Yeah, but I think the difference between like a former striker that we had from Leipzig, Werner and Balloon, right, and Kuku. Like I don't watch a lot of Bundesliga. I don't watch a lot of Leipzig, but based on his like YouTube highlight reels, right, he has a wide array of finishes. Like Werner is very reliant on the space behind the
Pace to break-
defenders.
breakthrough, yeah.
Because like teams in Bundesliga play an extremely high line,
Space
but Nkunku
invader.
he finishes in tight spots. He can shoot from afar. He is decent with his heading, and he's good at like dribbling. Whereas Werner is like he just runs in a line.
If I'm right,
Yeah.
Jackson has very good in the box conversion
But
ratio.
I
as well.
don't really watch a lot of
Yeah.
Villarreal.
I mean,
Yeah, so
we'll see. in the
But
upcoming
Nkunku and Sobo were like best mates. Like
Mm,
a
yeah,
lot of
correct.
what if like you looked at the compilations, right?
Mm,
Very often there's one assisting the other.
mm,
So it's honestly like a credit to
So,
Leipzig that
like-
they'll be able to rebuild.
yeah.
But
Sobo's set piece,
It's sick.
insane.
sick,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, sick.
He's the way he strikes the ball is insane.
Let's just hope Nunes can finish it.
But on Nunes,
I mean, since we're at it,
new number again.
Yeah.
what did he get?
Number 9, Firmino,
What did he get before?
27.
Yeah. 27.
So he was Origi's number and now he's
Ah,
Firmino's
yeah.
number.
Mm.
So
Look,
Uh,
Darwin, like his chance creation was insane, but the finishing was left a lot to be
Yeah.
desired.
I remember the stat that I read was he scored 9 goals in 29 games and missed 20 big chances.
Wow.
Honestly, it's like
That's
is
insane,
is
yeah.
absurd, man. But
uh,
the pressure is on.
I don't know how to go on more on Darwin, man.
I think with Darwin it's difficult because he feels like someone you have to build around, but I don't even know if he's like guaranteed starter. Like we have Jota, who I rate a lot.
Mm.
We still have Gakpo, who I think is growing into, this sort of link player.
The false nine.
Not like when we signed him, I always thought Gakpo was gonna be the explosive like left-sided player.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think Klopp
I think
saw something else in him.
AX actually play him as that link
PSV.
player. Yeah. Oh yeah, PSV
Yeah,
play
yeah.
him more as that link player.
Holland were the ones who actually played him more
More
as
with-
the
yeah.
center forward. So for Darwin, I think if he sorts out his like finishing, we could like.
If though,
I know. I said 20 goals for Luis Diaz, which I meant 20 goal contributions. I think if Darwin is the main number 9, 20 goals is achievable.
But I think Gakpo kind of suits that position.
I agree, but I think it's a good thing for us. Like, we just have options. You know, like, I kind of want to see a Liverpool that is closer to Man City in the sense that everyone in that squad you could easily see playing in the starting 11. Not like when we had, you know, Shaqiri, where it was very clear that Shaqiri was like a backup. Whereas at City, you have like Mahrez, Foden, Grealish. Any of those guys you could see playing in the starting 11 on any given day. So I think we're heading in the right direction. But yeah, this is his season where he needs to step up. Because a lot of Liverpool fans are also getting a bit impatient.
Yeah.
The more vocal minority online. So I don't know who else we might need.
Anyone else on like your list?
Managers. Should we wrap up with managers?
No, I think I have.
What
What about Jesus actually?
I have two. Yeah, I was just about to say
Yeah,
Gabriel
yeah.
Jesus. Like I think okay. So I'll go first because he was formerly at City, right?
I think it's the article that killed it, but okay.
I feel like as much as I love Jesus for his work rate, right, back at City, I think Jesus is a player that, as in, it's a bit harsh to say this, but he will always remain at an elite level and never become a world-class striker.
I still don't know what kind of player he is. Like we have that same. I think we talked about this. Is he the number 9? Is he the
I think
striker?
Under Pep he played really well. He thrived as a false 9.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the reasons why he left as well is because he wanted to be that all and out striker.
That Aguero, right?
And then I think for last season, right, during the preseason friendlies, Arteta played him up front. He scored many goals. There was so much hype around him.
Yeah.
And then after the season started, he did score 1 or 2, and then
He's
got
also
injured, right?
he's quite wasteful.
Yeah, he got injured, and then after that,
he's quite wasteful, like similar
Yes.
to Nunes in that way.
So I feel like on that note, I think until he gets that full season run, or at least 3/4 season, because I think because the World Cup that took his legs out, and then he was it was that World Cup injury that he only came back at like the last third or quarter of the season, where like
Guys have to rely on Nketiah.
I was like, remember I was like, oh, like, shit, we're screwed already, the title's over, you know, all that nonsense. And I would like to hopefully give him one full season without any full injuries to see what's he all about. Because I'm still not convinced, don't get me wrong. I'm still not convinced. Not bad a player, just like what you said, not.
He's a very reflex sort of finisher.
Yeah, I think it's. But Nketiah is kind of like that as well.
No, if you give Jesus time to think, right,
He'll
he will
mess
just
it up.
fluff
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but he's very reactionary, so it could be
Tap-
quite beneficial to Arsenal right now
Yeah.
because of the way they're playing.
Tap in
Arteta's
option.
philosophy.
Yeah, actually, I did see quite a lot of
Yeah.
tap-ins this season. Not gonna lie, like a lot of like in the box mess, and then someone just like slides in something. So
Yeah.
hopefully, but I'm not gonna raise my hopes up on that.
Okay. Just to wrap up on strikers, right? I have one more nominee, Richarlison from Spurs.
Well, mate, like
Okay,
this,
I know,
forgot.
like you,
I
I know
forgot. How come I
that
really
maybe
forgot?
some Spurs fans would be like,
Garbage.
"Hey man,
I
how are you
forgot.
gonna usurp like our boy Harry Kane?" Well, for this upcoming season, Kane may not be at Spurs. If the rumors are true, and
If
you
Kane
know,
doesn't leave, right, he's just
Kane
destroying
and
his own
Mbappe are
career.
the same, dude. They're just locked up by their clubs forever.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason why I put Richarlison as like my fraud watch striker to look forward to, right?
There's no
It's just based on what he did or
Stats.
what he didn't do last
just
season,
pure
right?
stats.
Okay, he scored 4 times in the Premier League.
We all know this stat.
3 of them were offside. And
He got
and
four yellow
and-
cards.
and
Right?
off. Yeah, he got 4 yellow cards for taking his shot off all 4 times that he scored. So Spurs, right? They basically paid 60 million for a Brazilian stripper.
I feel it's kind of unfair that you get booked even if the goal is ruled out. I feel like it's a bit insult to injury. They should like at least like
Hey, but there's
Scrap the
in,
card.
in, indecent exposure,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You have kids at the game. You can't do that. Indecent.
yeah, man. But
No, but I know we joked about this, like how we say like VAR killed the fun of the game. This
Mm.
guy didn't care, man. He just went like it's like
That's
back home,
that's why
everyone's like,
you
wait,
never
wait.
that's why
learn.
we
You
that's
never
why we
learn his
hate him.
lesson.
Like, you know, in every club there's this one player where like everyone hates, like the neutral fans.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like he's one of them.
Yeah,
I can't think of I can't think of any other Spurs player that I hate so much more than him. He annoys me a lot.
Right.
He annoys me a lot.
It's
Just
just
character-wise.
him.
Just character-wise.
he
He's like the opposite of Son.
Yeah, he's like the anti-Son.
Anti-Son.
Mm.
Like, it's just crazy.
Plot twist, Son's actually like a dirt bag behind the scenes.
we don't know this.
Son kicks puppies.
Let's go to managers before you wrap.
Mm.
So who
last
could
one.
be? I guess
Mm.
Poch.
Nah, dude, it's Arteta, man. Like
Yeah.
he is straight up under the microscope this season.
Arteta, I was. Poch. I don't think I'll put Poch there. It's just Poch has so much deadweight to deal. Like, Poch is like what Arteta is.
Poch
in
is
the
a
first
weird
season.
one, yeah.
Like he has
It's
to
like
deal
this
with
is his free pass season.
Yeah.
Although I don't like giving managers of Chelsea free passes because I expect a trophy every season.
I can only say that it's more on Poch just because number one, the squad has really quite decked. Number two, they're not playing Champions League.
Declan.
Yeah.
I think with Arteta, if you look back at the last 2 seasons, right? Yes, there was improvement, but both the last 2 seasons there was a big drop off. The last 10 games, it's almost like inability to get over the finishing line.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
no,
could
but that's what-
associate that with injuries, lah. Like
Yeah, for
they
this
dropped
one
off
we
a lot when Saliba got injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then players got tired.
Yeah,
and all
so
that.
squad depth.
But
like what I said.
this season, right? Like you can't spend money on players like Declan Rice, on Timber, on Havertz, and then expect to not challenge for the title and say that 4th place is like
Yeah, so
it's like
No,
there's no. I'm not taking that.
I
man.
didn't agree that they have to win because I still think
Challenge.
beating City
I think they
is
still
like
have to be.
insane.
No, but this is
they
the
have to
best.
challenge,
This
yeah.
is the best time to beat City because they are fresh from winning a
Still
treble.
tough, man.
I know it's tough.
Still
I know it's
insane.
tough. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
You have to build upon it.
So I feel like if more clubs pull their weights, like there was one season where like I think it was Royal Rumble at the top 4 or 3.
The Leicester season.
Yeah, I think if
That was
no
the
no no
worst.
no
Everyone was so bad. that
everyone was
year.
so bad. I don't know
Everyone
how
was
we
so
didn't
bad
win that
that
season,
year.
but I think there was a Royal Rumble season until it like broke away to like probably United and City at the top.
Oh,
But-
so that was quite long ago.
yeah, but I think if like the top 4 really pulled their weight, which I do see, even Chelsea, because with less games, they have a deck squad, just need some rebuilding a bit. City is decked. We don't even need to touch City. Liverpool hopefully will pull more weight this season than last season. Not sure about United.
Yeah, but
gonna leave
circling.
that out.
Yeah, United will be there and thereabouts.
Yeah.
But circling back to City, they are a lot more unsettled, and I could say a little bit less motivated because
They won it all already.
yeah, they won it already. So and no
Win it
team
again,
and no
lah.
team has ever
Back to back trouble.
That-
completed
that's
the
the
4 peat.
motivation,
Yeah,
lah.
that
maybe
could be the
that's
motivation.
low-key, that could be Pep's.
Yeah,
Pep
but
sticks.
you look at Grealish, like last season, he was keeping himself fit. He was coming back to training early to impress Pep because he had such a bad season prior. But after winning the treble, he's been like drunk for 3 months.
But it's City, right? It's like you pull one player out, you have another player in, right? It's like who knows? Foden this year, shine, Grealish take the bench.
yeah, but to me, I feel that if Arsenal don't make it close because they finished double digits behind.
No,
Or close to
maybe
no,
eight
Oh, they were
points.
almost double
Maybe
digits
eight
behind.
points, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think the goal for this season is a trophy and running Man City close or even winning the title.
Wait, when we say trophy, are we talking about FA
Like
Cup?
any trophy because you guys
Community Shield, dude.
Community Shield, man.
Nah, dude.
Every trophy counts.
That's like a Mickey Mouse dish.
Emirates Cup and
Literally a McDonald's shield.
I mean, like Spurs count the Audi Cup, so you know that's that. But on that note, I would think that I do agree that we should challenge, quite close behind. But mainly, I don't think we'll get. Or dare I say like I think Premier League will. be the
Also a good
priority.
account of yourself in the Champions League.
Yeah,
Mm.
You know, there's no point getting in
but
and
that's what I
then
said last year.
crashing
right?
out in the group.
Like we didn't even give a good account of the Europa just because like we were probably squad depth wise, but
yeah, but you guys had bigger fish to fry. Like I don't blame you all for that dip in Europa, and also losing to Sporting is like
No, I don't think that.
Yeah, okay, you guys should beat
we
Sporting,
have
but
beat
like-
Sporting. No, not shitting on Sporting though, but we should have.
yeah,
we
yeah,
should
yeah, sure.
have.
But like I said, you guys had bigger fish to fry, and it was a gamble that didn't pay off. But
yeah.
now is the tricky part, because while may have been able to, take one eye off the Europa League, you can't do that with the Champions League.
You can't do that with the
defeats the
Champions
whole
League.
point. Like, so
Technically, if you pass if you hit to the knockout rounds and you get knocked out, then you just need to qualify for top 4 again, which is essentially what Arsenal has been doing the past
1 year.
Hey. we got to restart that counter again.
Yeah.
Qualifying 4th every season. But pretty much that's it. Like I feel like Arteta is on the fraud watch.
I think Eddie Howe is there as well, and I don't mean Eddie Howe is a fraud. I'm just saying, because Newcastle have such a
I think it's
They built themselves up on such a pedestal that
it's like if Eddie Howe needs to show the Newcastle board that he
is the
can
man.
grow with them,
Yes.
he can go up a level just like how the club is going up a level. If not, he might be in a situation where it's a bit like Pellegrini at Man City, like
on
just
that-
can't keep up.
On that note, I want to throw like Dzebri in as well, just because like Brighton's squad is quite pulled apart-ish.
Yeah, both options that you mentioned are actually in my like hot takes, which we'll address later. But I think you can just you got any other managers that you want to put on?
To be honest,
The hot seat.
I think the Arteta one was a great shout. But I have to say that it has to be Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah,
they have
Because to me, it's like, I think what most
Pound
Liverpool-
for pound, best manager in the league, man.
Okay, sure. Okay, but I think
Pound for pound.
no,
man.
but I think like what many Liverpool fans have been like begging for, right, is a refresh in midfield, right? Because your front is already so stacked. Your back, I think, needs a little bit of fine tuning, but kind of getting the hang of things. And then now you guys have been answered, like your calls have been answered with Szoboszlai and McAllister, right? So I think if Liverpool,
Still need a couple, but
but if Liverpool do not finish top 4 this season, I think it is
unthinkable.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a failure, like for
100%.
Liverpool itself. Like,
100%.
and I think the fans also want to see Liverpool back into that pristine Liverpool where they just attack and they look ruthless, as compared to last season where Liverpool were not really taken that seriously as compared to like Arsenal.
I mean, there's one way, like it's scoring goals is one thing, but being glass cannons is like you're just reverting back to the Liverpool of old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's getting that balance right with the right signings, I guess.
So
Hot takes.
hot takes.
Hit us with the hot
I'll
takes,
go
man.
in, man. Like I think I spoke to Cash about this before a few weeks ago. I feel that this season will be the season where Newcastle finds out that Eddie Howe is like not the guy to take them forward. I think that he'll get sacked, and who else would but Jose Mourinho to take over the next season because of the whole because he has connections and history with Newcastle, right? He did say that Jose said that Newcastle is a great club. He will one day like to follow in the footsteps of like Bobby Robson.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of Roma, right, it could be a point where he feels that he's taken Roma like
It's
the
max,
best.
Yeah.
Because they're not spending money. They're not spending loads of money. And I think Jose wants to return back to Newcastle.
Makes
And
sense.
he sees that Newcastle is like a project for him to build on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
and my
then
second hot take is
Zebri.
Brighton to get relegated.
That was a bit tough.
I
That's
don't
a
think
tad
they
too
will get
far.
relegated though. I think
I
they
want them to
will-
get relegated. No, because you think about it.
Bro, you're a Brighton fan.
McAllister left.
Not anymore.
Saicedo, rumors it is he's about to leave. Colwell's not gonna come
A
back.
lot of players last season were punching above their weight.
Yes, correct.
I think they did
So-
get some intermin replacements who
but
but
they
then
may not
again,
be as good.
yeah. It's just- it's
Dahoud is kind of a random signing. I don't think he's a good enough replacement for McAllister. João Pedro is also a bit of a weird
Oh, he's
one.
actually
They could
not
be
my
like
shout.
Leeds, second season Leeds, if you think about it. Like they could perform as badly or as well as
Yeah, I think
how
he
Leeds.
he has to just outweigh like Europa or the league. Like
yeah,
league
and they have
stability.
European commitments as well.
It's about Europa
With
and
a
league
fairly
stability.
weaker squad on paper, so may not be
Yeah.
such of a hot take.
Well, we'll see. Like next season, where all our listed players / managers will Man, I love the Richarlison one. I just can't let that one go. I totally
Brazilian
forgot about it.
stripper,
It wasn't
bro.
on my list. I was like, I totally forgot until you mentioned it. I was
60
like, oh
million
my God.
for a.
I just yeah, just.
Your hot take was Brighton, right? I actually think Brentford might be in trouble. I think I'm not gonna be as bold to say as Brentford's gonna go down, but I think they'll be like in that mix.
My
They'll be like 17, 16 kind of fighting. I just think Tony is such a big miss.
yeah.
Doesn't look like they're gonna replace him. If there are plans to replace him with Mbuemo,
Visa or Shed? Kevin Shed?
nah,
Shed.
man. And like I said, Raya might, suffer a dip. So I think Brentford might suffer like third season syndrome. I think Wolves are screwed. Wolves are screwed. Wait, I actually wanted to hear what you guys had to say about the new Spurs coach, Postecoglou.
I want to let him run and we'll see.
You wanna let him
how it
cook?
goes. Yeah, let him cook for a while. I don't want to jump the gun. I heard stuff, but I think it's. I mean, he did win at Celtic at the end of the day.
Then again, Gerrard went unbeaten at Rangers. So
That's true.
I
We'll
just
find
feel
out.
like he also feels like quite a frosty personality. I feel like
I feel
the media will turn against him,
feel
and
the
it'll be
squad
very
don't make
difficult for
sense.
him.
the squad don't make sense with the style he's gonna play. So, yeah. But my hot take,
it's gonna take a while. Like Poch, him and Poch, like same. Like they have a lot of
yeah,
background things to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
My hot take is actually West Ham. I think they're going to get relegated, depending on how they invest the money.
Without Rice,
Yeah. No. I think it's
Yeah.
not just about Rice.
Yeah.
I think it's also Moyes. I don't know if he still has it or he
Could
can
be
do it.
another Ranieri.
I think Moyes should have
Yeah,
left.
it
Moyes
feels
should have
like
left after he won the
Yeah,
the Conference League.
Don't have good juju about the whole situation there. We don't even know. Like there were some rumors towards the end of the season, like maybe he's not staying or whatever. But I think he won, so
on good faith lah.
yeah, so you never know. And West Ham is one of those clubs, like if it's not doing well, they'll pull the plug. We've seen it many times already, so I won't be surprised.
No, Fulham, man. If they sell Mitrovic,
Oh,
yeah,
if they sell Mitrovic and Palhinha, I think they're in a
yeah.
world
23
of
mil
hurt.
for
Palina's linked somewhere.
He linked with like so many clubs, but
yeah.
I know
Mitrovic-
Fulham want a
Chelsea
lot of
should
money
get
for him.
him, man. Come on, get him. I'm doing the scouting for you. Get
what
Paulina.
about Lionel's hot take?
I think
Have to get sacked.
nah.
No.
I think Rashford doesn't deliver this. I think he will get less than 10 goals this season.
Wow,
Nate, you wanna
that's like the
comment on that?
hottest.
Yeah.
That's
Take-
I feel like he overdid himself
Nate says he's
last
old.
season.
Oh.
He went on an
I
insane
actually
run.
don't hate that.
Yeah, but I
don't
think
hate that.
he gets less than 10 goals this season.
Oh, that's
Rashford. Yeah.
Wow.
But what if he did like 20 assists?
What if he gets What if he gets injured for majority of the season?
Oh, then we can't.
Then,
can't
Yeah, then it's
yeah.
hard to access. But I
Yeah.
think even if he stays fully fit, less than 10 goals.
Why? Is there any?
I,
Train
I,
of
I
thought.
just I just think that
He was punching above his
yeah,
weight.
No, it's
exactly.
a new contract curse.
And probably that.
Walcott
And I
vibes.
and I think the addition of like Mount, right? And I think the uncertainty at right wing. Plus, I don't know who's gonna be like their out and out striker. I think there will be a little bit of identity problem in terms of positioning on the field for Rashford. So I think this is just a hot take, but you may be right.
Hot takes are hot takes for
Yeah.
a reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. For those of you who are stuck all the way, we really appreciate it. And for those of you all who are joining us and finding out about FKB for the first time, awesome to have you all along for the ride for the 2023-24 season. Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel, Full Kit Banter, and on Instagram as well, @FullKitBanter. Follow us on Spotify for all the latest updates on our episodes. And we can't wait for the new season to start. Community Shield, of course, is just in a couple of weeks away. I believe it's Arsenal going up against Man City, so that'll be a nice little curtain raiser. We're going to see the debut of Rice.
Get that
So
gravy
many
on,
more.
man.
But until then, we hope you guys had a great time on the episode. We sure did. Thanks again to Paraphrase for hosting us. Once again, shout out to Nate for doing everything behind the scenes. And yeah, we hope to see you guys for next season. Take care.